Oh putain, ça coule, ça merde.
J'arrive,
Oui, ça me
j'arrive,
tire
je suis
dessus,
là.
et puis l'autre il me retire dessus, et me voilà ce bâtard. Ah
J'arrive
voilà,
derrière.
putain. Oh putain, le bateau va couler, mais putain, mais ah vas-y.
Oh, you got that?
Yep.
One of them dropped off the back of their ship.
GG, boys. Alright, as you see from those clips right there I just had and showed you guys, I know a little bit about the sword and how to use it. So in this video right here, we're going to go ahead and cover everything about movement, ways to use it, different strategies, etc. It's just a bunch of tips and tricks, and I want you to stick around because I'm sure there's going to be at least one tip or trick you may not have known. Alright, so I went ahead and found these skellies to show you the basic attacks first. The basic attack's going to be either left click or right trigger. It's going to be a 3-hit combo. Each one of those swings is going to deal 25% damage. So on a normal player, that would just be, 4 hits and they're dead since they have 100 HP. Then there's also the lunge. If you hold down that button for the attack, it's going to build up and it does 60% damage if you connect with it. If you do miss, there's a short penalty where you won't be able to move afterwards. So be careful when using lunges. Be smart about them. Alright, next is one of the simplest things you can do while using a sword, and as you see, it's just blocking. You either hold down the right mouse button or the left trigger, and honestly, in my opinion, it's probably one of the most underrated parts of the sword because people really don't block. There's a lot of fights where you'll die because you refuse to block. You're just trying to outsword somebody, and you have to be actually looking at the opponent when they swing for the block. Notice right here, I looked up too far and it didn't block it. Alright, next up on the wheel trick, as you see, if you're holding your block and then you go ahead and hit that jump button, the space button or A in a direction, you can only go left, forward, back, or right. It'll do a jump for you. As you see there, it's pretty useful when you're in the middle of a fight. You could be blocking someone, or before they get to you, you could even jump through them to get behind them. It doesn't work on these skellies here, as they're a little bit more advanced than most players will ever be. As you notice, the skelly, every time I jump through, is immediately already 180'd on me. And as you notice right there, that was a sword lunge they did. So with blocking, you have to be careful. Blocking does not stop sword lunges. As you keep watching right here, some successful blocking. But then you'll notice right here, like I was saying, if you try and block a sword lunge, you're going to be in for like a surprise per se. Because watch right here. You'll get that knockback and you're going to lose a bunch of health. From skellies, it's not as bad, but from players, remember, that's going to be over 60% of your health, so you'll be a one-tap to any guns. Another pro tip, if your person's blocking all your attacks and you can't get the jump on them, even jumping through them, go for overhead hits. Right there, the skellies can't block it at all as far as I can tell, and then players struggle a lot with that too. So if someone's blocking a lot of your swords and you're in an intense sword battle, start hopping above them and swinging down on top of their head. Most players don't have the sensitivity to look up quick enough to stop those attacks from coming. Alright, the best tip for getting better at swords in general is going to be learning to lunge. So remember, there's normal lunging where you just don't hold the block button and lunge forward. You'll go about that far. Then there's the block lunge, which is if you hold block and then go for the lunge, hold down your left click or your right trigger, you're going to go about that far. But there's a pro trick to it, and you're going to see me mess it up right here, is if you jump right before the end of your charge as it thrusts forward, you're basically going to go flying. I messed it up because you didn't time it right. You have to time it perfectly right here at the end. Right as the charge goes, you jump and you'll go flying. Notice the difference I got compared to the other charges off of that, the amount of space you cover. And then back, right there, you time it perfectly and you can fly across boats, especially sloops. Alright, the biggest reason people don't lunge is because if you miss your lunge completely, you get stuck with the movement penalty for about 2 or 3 seconds right after the sword lunge is over. To counter that, if you find anything with an interact button on a ship, and you're going to miss that sword lunge, go ahead and grab onto that at the end of the lunge and there'll be no penalty for you. It's one of the biggest tricks and it's very helpful in fights. Because instead of being stuck for 2 or 3 seconds where someone might one blunder you or come sword you yourself, you're able to just go ahead and immediately be right back in the fight. The sword lunge is also super helpful for movement. Notice if you time that jump just right, you can fly. Like your sword lunge will carry you in the water an extra bit momentum, so you'll be able to go ahead and go over, and then make sure you're connecting with that sword lunge, because if you jump, as long as you connect with something, you can continuously keep moving after the lunge. As you notice here, I'm just flying across these skellies, going back and forth sword lunging without ever losing my momentum at all. And then the reason I said there was a movement penalty, because if you take a notice, like look right here at this little clip, if you completely miss all players, and like I said, if you don't grab anything with an interact button on the ship, you're going to get stuck like this. This is what it looks like if you missed everything. You're just stuck sitting there. You're a sitting duck. So make sure that you practice. If you don't think you're going to hit the sword lunge, make sure there's something for you to grab onto to avoid that movement penalty. Another movement tip with the sword for people, if you didn't know, if you go to a high place on an island, go ahead and charge up that block lunge and then make that jump just right. You'll fly through the water at super good speeds. You'll probably get a more successful board than whether you just either try and jump into the water or, just swim for the boat. Just a small tip, some people don't know that. Alright, and then just one last tip here for boarding basically. The sword's very useful for boarding, better than most because of the little jump that you can do, the mini dash while blocking. So go ahead and have your sword out, or personal preference, you can wait till you get closer and hit that. When you climb the ladder though, make sure you have the block down, and as soon as you touch the top of that ladder, go ahead and hit the space bar, the A button, and you'll be able to dash right on top of the ship. Catches most people off guard, whether they were trying to either sword you as you came up or if they were aiming their shot for a pre-fire. Once again, if you just take a look right here, you're going to be out in front of the boat. You see a boat coming that you either sword lunge to or you jumped off behind your boat. Go ahead and prep your block button, have it ready. And then go ahead and grab on. It's going to be a silent board as well. And then you're going to go immediately, just jump. It usually catches people off guard. And as you saw in the clips at the beginning of the video, people don't expect it, and it gives you a better chance at survivability and also getting down their anchor. Alright, and then one last thing, more of a mini tip for people. If you're one of the people out there still pulling off tucks or just want to go tuck on some people or trying it out, instead of cannoning off your boat towards them, making a lot of noise, or just jumping off and doing the swim, it'll decrease your time just a tad bit, but go ahead and sword lunge off your boat towards the island. Let's say there was a boat over here you want the tuck on. It gets you there a little bit faster. Sometimes that extra few seconds is what makes the difference. Alright, the last few minutes of this video just going to be me breaking down some of the boards I got off, showing some of the skills we used, and then also showing you how they're implemented, giving a play-by-play. That way you can kind of get an idea of how my thought process is, but also how to use these tips successfully. Alright, notice I'm going to charge up my sword lunge. I dive out into the water. I'm going to go for this board on this brig. Whenever I get close to the ladder, I'm one of the people, I'll hold down my block button closer towards the ladder, like right there. You really don't see it, it's very quick. Go ahead and hop out of the way. I got on the boat successfully, throw a few blunders, but unfortunately for me, I died before I managed to get anything done, but I got the board off. Alright, attempt number 2, I go ahead and lunge off. The momentum carries me in the water for the board. I'm going to go ahead and grab that ladder. I don't hold the block button down this time, unfortunately, but as soon as I board, I see a guy on ropes. I charge up a sword lunge, hit him instantly, he dies. I charge another one. I don't see anyone though, so I grab that cannon to cancel it so I don't get stuck with a penalty. Hit that guy once for 75, and then a sword slash for 25. He's dead. Anchors drop, so we're in a good spot. Alright, waiting on the respawns right here. I go ahead and notice this guy spawn in right there. Go for that sniper shot again. That's 75 off of him. I charge up. He went under. It threw me off, so I grab that wheel, canceled, and I slash him to death. And I see his friend, and remember I said block and fights. It's very useful. Jump through this guy right there. I got behind him. He didn't know where I went. And then I know I hit him 3 times for 75, so let me just throw a few blunders at him. Go ahead and finish the job up. Alright, boarding a different crew of sloop this time. Notice I got my block out, that way I can immediately jump when I get up here. I have both of them full. They checked the other ladder. I got behind both of them right there. Hit that guy 3 times. 4th time on that slash, he died. That guy's been hit once or twice, so I know he's low health as well. Pistol shots do 55 damage, so watch this right here. Boom. That guy's dead as well. Go ahead and drop their anchor too. Not every clip's great. As you see, I missed my pistol shot. I missed a slash. Go ahead and reload. Gonna miss again right here because I'm not an aimbot. I got a sword charge going. That guy missed. Fortunately, I got him with the charge and a slash. He's dead. Right here, I hip fire with that guy right there, and I go for blocks. But, you can't block them all. Sometimes you're going to die. You got to practice to get better. So I got slashed right there. Alright, last clip. I'll go ahead and I cannon out in front of their boat. I know the momentum will carry me just enough to go ahead and get in front of them. Get ready for this sword board again. I'll go ahead and get that block out. I climb up. Notice he's ready for me, but I still jump to the side, evade him. I get reared right here. Notice I ate that megalodon. Health didn't really go up at all, and boom. Gotta love the game sometimes. Alright, and if you like that video, feel free to go ahead and leave a like or a sub, as it helps me out a lot. And if there are any more tips or tricks that we didn't mention in the video with the sword, please leave them below, and then we can go ahead and talk and help each other out down there as a community. Last thing as well, if you want more videos like this covering the other weapons, maybe some movements, tips, etc., just let me know and I'll get right to it. Anyway, have a good day and peace.